My hopes are... Well, there's only one hope actually, really. And the hope is that they kill the temp chains headhunter interaction. The slower expiration. That's my only hope. That's my only hope. I'm not expecting that to happen. Okay. Let's see. Dev Manifesto. Balance in Blight. Yeah, we are in a mode only now. So you can't spoil. For a while, we wanted to include modifiers on caster weapons that provide a multiplicative damage increase to spell, similar to how physical weapon modifiers affect the base damage of attacks. Previously, this took the form of elemental penetration and modifiers that add a portion of elements as extra chaos, but this patch... Oh, previously. Oh, shit, are they removing one of those? Or both? Ooh. Or are they just adding the extra global gem levels? But this patch will pushing this further in the form of global modifiers to gem levels. States were previously the go-to weapon for increasing gem levels for staves, yeah, but their modifiers only apply to gems within the staff. Casters-oriented one-handed weapons will now be able to roll some new modifiers that grant +1 all to fire, like fire, cold, lightning, physical, or chaos spells, skill gems. Not just one socket in the item. Spectres will now not have the chaos spell gem. Okay. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Staves will be able to roll a modifier that grants +1 to 2 and have a rare higher +3. +3 global on staves? Yeah. Really good. 100 caster members will be able to roll a very rare additional mod that grants +2 all spell gems. If GGG says it's very rare, it is very rare. Music? You have an issue with the very silent Final Fantasy? I can take it off. If it's annoying or too loud or anything like that. I can take it off, yeah, it's fine. No, that's fine on YouTube though. Like, YouTube doesn't care about that. This specific sound. Final Fantasy soundtracks are fine. I've had this previously multiple times. Fine. It's just like some background noise. And the staff version of the modifier will grant up to +2. So it's so that's the same mod. It just has a range, so you just divine it. Then that's nice. Okay, these weapons will no longer be able to roll equivalent modifiers that only apply to socket gems. These weapons will no longer be able to roll equivalent modifiers that only apply to socket gems. Interest. That's gonna make leveling slightly more annoying until you get to Act 3, when you start getting the flat craft options on your weapons. It's worth noting that these new modifiers don't apply to support gems. Wait, do not apply to support gems. Oh shit. Oh damn. I mean, I'm assuming we still can roll the +2 support gems, which is gonna make Empower good. And there's no mention of removing. Wait, no. Are they like removing all of the? Like, are they removing the +1 to all Socketed gem levels? It looks like they're completely removing that. Oh shit. Okay. It's worth noting that these new modifiers don't apply to support gems. Daggers and war staves that can't roll casting modifiers will still be able to roll old local elemental gem modifiers. And all non-caster weapon types will still be able to roll existing local gem modifiers like... Oh, okay. I see. There are a number of consequences of these changes. Because the global gem modifiers are much powerful than the previous local modifiers, we have removed the low-level crafting recipe that added +1 to level socketed fire code line. Yep. This recipe has been replaced with a similar one that applies added fire code lightning damage to spells and takes rarity of the item into account to remaining monsters. Okay. That's actually better then, though. That is like legit better than the +1 skill gem level. Oh shit. Okay, I'm assuming this is pretty much the same as... Like, you can already craft spell damage on weapons with a whetstone and a chain belt, yeah. And if you had a like, you know, the rarity of the chain belt matters. So we're gonna be able to do that. I really hope that they actually tell us what the recipes are. Not that it's not gonna take long to figure out, I guess, but it's gonna help at the start of the league so much. But I guess they want. I mean, they might just keep it as a community thing, so it's fine, I guess. That's interesting. I really like this. It's a bit feels bad, man, for the chaos, the no +1 chaos, but this also makes leveling something like SRS harder because you can't roll. Wait, wait. You're still gonna have the minion helm at the start of Act 2, anyways. Like at like level 15, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I mean, it definitely hurts for that, but it's like it's not the biggest issue, I think. Essence of Rage, Sorrow, and Spite now apply Fire, Cold, Lightning, Penetration. Okay, so you're making Inquisitor even more useless for the pen at least by adding the easy access to getting pen through these. Okay. Some uniques have been changed to apply modifiers to global gem levels. This is mostly the case on caster weapons, but some specific minion items like Bones of Ulr have also received this treatment. Bones of Ulr now grants +1 all plus to all raised zombie gems and all raised spectre gems, instead of affecting the maximum minion count, as the additional maximum spectre modifier was too much power from a single item. Now, raising the level of these minion gems to a high enough level will grant additional maximum minions, so these modifiers are still useful. All of the changes will be shown in the patch notes. See, I knew it. I knew that we're gonna we're gonna get... There's gonna be a threshold on raised spectre that gives you 3 minions. And if it's too high, it's gonna be so fucking annoying to get. Like, if, let's say it's like 29, it's gonna be so, or like 30 or something. It's gonna be so annoying to get. At the moment, like before you have it, you're just like feels bad, man. And then when you get it, then you're like feels good, man. Okay. I mean, you kinda kill Bones Wool, I think, with that change. Because you're just, I mean, you were already better off crafting minion boots with the essence. But now, since you don't have to use Bones of Wool before, because I mean, unless the threshold for the +1 spectre from 2 to 3 is low enough that using Bones of Wool until you get the fossil crafted boots is good enough. I don't see people really using much wool. I mean, people will still do it, but it's much worse than it was before. But at the same time, before the introduction of fossils, Bones of Wool were kind of mandatory, so yeah. I wonder what's this gonna mean for Vis Mortis. Shit. Traps and mines. We made a whole host of changes to mines that completely change how they behave and how you interact with them. As such, many systems that interacted with mines and by extension traps have been changed. You can read more about mechanics. Yeah, we've checked that already. The Shaper Elder modifiers that grant +1 to trap thrones or mines place will no longer appear. That's nice, because those were basically mandatory to use. If you were a trapper, you could not use any other gloves because you needed the extra trap shit. If you're a miner, you kind of had to use the helm. So I personally like this change. Now you can play a miner using the blood magic helm. And if you have a high enough life pool and the mine cost being flat, it might actually not be a big deal. They provide too much of a damage increase for a single mod. To compensate, some traps have had their damage and area growth improved. We've also introducing changes to the trap support, which now grants a higher value of trap throw speed and increased trap damage as gem level. So from nerfing trap gem to buffing it to nerfing it to buffing it again. Okay. Alright. The cycle continues. We've included a couple of new modifiers from various kinds of crafting to improve trap and mine itemization. As an example, the Essence of Zeal, which is the crazy attack speed essence, now rolls a trap and mine throw speed modifiers on belts. Yo, that's kind of cool. I like that. That's nice. 200 incursion weapons with trap damage modifiers now have values higher than 100 incursion weapons. And the bonus up to mine damage as well. Can you imagine? Can you actually imagine them buffing the 200 incursion weapons? Just think about it. Remember the 200 like staves, the incursion staves with like minion speed, like minion duration or something like that? I remember because they were so bad.
Fresh meat.
Oh, thanks, Mitchie. Also, I think I'm gonna take off my my events. I'm just gonna mute them so I can keep talking even though it shows on the screen. We've also buffed some underutilized trap support, like charge trap support and advanced trap support. I like that. There were a few builds that actually used those. For those, that's pretty good buffs. Damage over time. We made a number of changes to improve the item. Yeah, we already know this from the leaks, right? They're basically just giving damage over time multipliers to everything. We made a number of changes to improve the itemization and passive tree power for builds that use ailments to deal damage, as well as damage multipliers for burning skills. We have replaced all non-ailment chaos damage over time multipliers with chaos damage over time multiplier, so they'll now apply to poison as well. Remember when they originally included, like they introduced the non-ailment chaos damage over multipliers, and everyone just like, why is this non-ailment? This is not like poison is broken or anything. And now they're doing it. This is partly so that poison builds have a few interesting new options, but mostly to make those passives and items less painful to read. Less painful to read. I think they should swap the less painful to read, and so the poison builds have a few interesting new options around. Because I think this is just the actual good thing about this, not the less painful to read. Oh shit! Perfect Agony has been changed significantly, and as a result, so have ailments from critical strikes. Previously, ailments from critical strikes dealt 50% more damage by default, similar to unmodified critical hit damage. The only way to modify this value was to take Perfect Agony. Now, ailments from critical strikes have plus 50% to damage over time multiplier by default, which will be added with the damage over time multipliers from other sources. So they are making degen scale from crit. Interesting. Very interesting. Now Perfect Agony lets critical strike multiple also apply to ailment damage over time multiplier from critical strikes at 50% of the value, which is more potent than the previous value of 30%. This means that investing in crit multi is more rewarding for ailment builds unless you have already invested heavily in other sources of damage over time multiplier. The intent of this change is to allow critical poison builds that have more potential for damage growth and make the keystone a worthwhile investment for any critical bleed or ignite. I mean, let's just make everything scale from crit and make everyone take crit. I mean, I guess that's gonna work. Sure. It's a bit odd, but I mean, it's gonna make ailment builds work. And now, since you go crit, you get your chance to ignite, for example, just from having the crit, so you don't actually have to scale your ignite chance at all. I mean, you can still have the ignite, like the base high ignite chance, and then get crit multi, I guess. Okay. I mean, I like that they're buffing the degen builds, but this also just straight up buffs any hit build that does also degen because of the result of critting, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure if I like how they're doing it. I like that they're buffing the degen. I'm not sure if that's the best way to go about it. Okay. Many passives that increase burning damage, poison damage, or blind damage now have equivalent damage over time multiplier bonuses. They've all been replaced, rebalanced as a result. We've also added a new small cluster that gives some potent bonuses to ignites from critical strikes and another that gives bonuses to ailments from critical strikes. Yeah. We all be going crit, boys. There are also new item modifiers and crafting modifiers that apply to fire damage over time multiplier or ignite damage over time. They're making difference between fire damage over time multiplier and ignite damage over time multiplier. Hey Carve, I'm playing an ignite build. Can I take fire damage over time multiplier, or do I have to use ignite damage over time multiplier? Are they the same? It's gonna be great. If they are not making this apply to ignites as well, people helping out people with builds are gonna be so fucked. This should work with ignites, but this shouldn't work with non-ignites. So, righteous fire here. It really sounds like this is just made for Righteous Fire. And are there any other just pure fire damage over time multiplier builds that aren't Righteous Fire? Oh no, Scorching Ray, I guess. Is that it? Just those two? Scorching Ray and Righteous Fire, I think. Oh, Searing Bond. Yeah, you're right. Searing Bond is also fire damage or the multiplier. So there are fierce skills. Yeah. Okay. I'm I'm so like I mean I'm not confused that they're doing this. I'm just wondering, was this the only way to do it? Huh. But like it really just feels like you're just gonna get extra damage by being a crit build because now the crit also is gonna scale your damage over time. As a result of all these burning changes, we have reviewed all burning damage skills and adjust values. Righteous Fire in particular has received some mechanical changes. It now deals a smaller portion of your health as fire damage around you, but has an additional burning damage value that increases as the gem levels. The goal of this change is to provide more powerful builds that don't invest as heavily in maximum life, and slightly less power in builds that invested the majority of the resources into getting large values of maximum life. It's interesting to see Righteous Fire finally be changed from just, get as much life as you can. That's kind of interesting. Crit Fire Trap could be insane. Yep, that is true. I forgot Fire Trap also has a burning degen. Because now you crit and yeah, that sounds interesting. Huh. Okay. I mean they are going nutty on just allowing everyone go crit, really. We also rebalanced some supports that affect damage over time, like the Unboiled Ailment support, Poison support, and the Vicious Projectile support. Apart from this popcorn, I'll get the popcorn to for batch notes, I think. We rebalanced some supports that affect damage over time, like Unboiled Ailments, Poison support, and a Vicious Projectile support. That sounds like Herald of Agony is gonna get nerfed. If nothing else, in the way you're getting poison. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go. Dude, there's so much in here. Minions. We made a large number of additions and changes to minions to improve build diversity and give players the option of having more control over their armies. You can read about some of these here. Yeah, we read that. Almost every system in the game that touches minions has been reviewed and rebalanced or changed. Here are some of the more notable changes. All minions have had their accuracy increased. Nice. The result of this is that the level 20 race zombie summon skills or raging spirit will have an 80% chance to hit a level 84 enemy. Without accuracy nodes? Okay, so getting the 100% chance is like super easy. You're probably not even gonna need precision. Alright. I mean, that's good. Them increasing the accuracy is good. I think this is just overall good. Golems have all been reviewed and adjusted to make more varieties of golems have competitive levels of power. Chaos, Lightning, and Stone golems have been improved in various ways to make them more competitive with Flame and Ice golems, as well as the new Carrion golem. As an example, Chaos golem has more AoE effect on its cascade, has 100% physical damage converted to Chaos, and its ongoing Chaos Storm now has spell damage modifiers applied to this skill's damage every time. Huh, okay. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, golem buffs, I like it. Instead of nerfing the good ones, they're buffing the bad ones. That's good. That's just overall good. If you are targeting a monster when you cast Summon Raging Spirit, the Raging Spirit credit will attempt to attack that enemy first. If it can't reach the enemy, or the enemy dies, it returns to its standard behavior. This is still overridden by Deathmark. I really like this. I tried to find me saying this on some of my videos, but I couldn't find it. But I remember talking about this multiple times, at least during streams, that it would be really nice if you're targeting a monster when you're casting SRS, the SRS which is like locked down to that, and they did exactly that. That's really nice. I really like that. So it means that you don't have to use Deathmark. But remains to be seen if you use it anyways. Because with that, you don't have to then target that dude. The minion and totem elemental resistance support has been changed to elemental army support. It no longer applies to totems, but lets supported minions apply a minus 10% exposure based on their highest elemental damage dealt and grants them more elemental damage. At a higher level, it grants more maximum elemental resistance. I mean, I knew a few totem builds that actually used that support to give totems the resist they needed. So that's a big yikes for them, but that's a big buff for the minion builds. Convocation cooldown has been shortened now that the Necromancer no longer has a notable grants cooldown recovery rate. Nice, thank you. Its life recovery is now a percentage of maximum life rather than a flat value limited to scale higher levels. Okay, so the convocation change is gonna help out a lot because Necro lost 2% regen. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that all the changes to skill tree, so the skill tree might have regen too, but this means, I mean, the issue with this is of course that you have to use the convocation to give them the regen, but that's really nice. With EE and a curses 10% exposure, won't matter that much, will it? I mean, a target with a very high resistance, I mean, against bosses, it's not going to be a big deal. But then again, it also grants them more elemental damage, so it's not just the exposure, it also has more LE damage, and it gives resistance too. So it's hard to say before we actually see all of the shit. Desecrate has had its cooldown removed and now has a shorter cast time. It has a shorter duration and a lower corpse limit now. But this will make it much more reliable tool for both minions builds and builds that explode corpse. Val DD, the whole just desecrate. I wonder if there's a cap of how many. I mean, there's. I mean, this has yeah, it has a lower corpse limit. So I wonder how many corpses we can have. But imagine if it didn't have that, you could just like desecrate the whole like Shaper area before Shaper spawns, and then just well DD. But the removal of the cooldown is very big for a lot of shenanigans. It's good for like just general gameplay, but it's also really, really, really good for any kind of cast when damage taken or cast when channeling setup. Like that's where this change is gonna bring like the spirit offering things back. I mean, not back, but they're gonna make them better. Because it has no cooldown. So your cooldown is, yeah, Poet's Pen too, yeah. Since you have a, like, you might not need to use Unearth GMP on a Poet's Pen, for example, and instead you just have Desecrate. Offerings are now more reliable and easier to manage. They know a higher base duration, thank God. I felt like it was regard to always use increased duration on them, otherwise it was too short. Gain an additional second for each corpse consumed. Consume half as many corpses. And they have an ongoing, so that you don't have to have all the 9 corpses. Nice. And they have an ongoing marker over the player rather than on the ground. That's interesting too, so you'll always know when they're expired. Okay. I'd rather see a duration at the top of the screen below the buff though, but this is nice too. Okay, one thing I'm worrying about right now is since they consume half as many corpses, that's gonna make Spirit Offering ES heal worse. Much worse. But I'm not sure if that's a nerf they made on purpose, or if that's just a consequence. But at the same time, because you don't have the cooldown on it anymore, the Desecrate thing is gonna make it good anyways. So. Also, this, I mean, you could say it's a nerf to the, you know, the Necronaut that gives you, is it cast speed and attack speed per corpse consumed recently, so in 4 seconds. But at the same time, since it now doesn't have a cooldown, you know, it might be easier to get it going. It's hard to say. The Dead Reckoning unique jewel can now turn up to 50 skeletal warriors into mages, up from 5, and it's not limited to 1. That's nice, thank you. It was so annoying that you'd had to have multiple. Using multiple copies of the jewel was an unnecessary cost for the power provided, and this should make the build more accessible as well. Thank you, good. There have been many changes to crafting modifiers that affect minions, including a new Atlas-specific base type, config one, which is an implicit that lets it roll new minion modifiers. Essence of Fear has been changed to match other minion bonuses, which means it grants higher values of minion damage on weapons. Good. Thank you for not removing the minion speed from jewelry. Incurs and item minion modifiers have been changed and improved. I mean, yeah, good. Good. A new elemental resistance and minion elemental resistance craft. A new elemental resistance and minion elemental resistance crafted modifier has been added. Wait. We're talking about minions and they have a new elemental resistance, and then they have a minion. Wait, what? What's the difference? What's the difference here? Is this for your character? Why is it mentioned in the minion? Or is it like a hybrid for you and your minions, and then this is pure minions? I don't know. Either way, being able to have resistances for your minions is good. A new craftable minion movement speed modifier has been added. Nice. Hybrid. Yeah, okay. Mana for spellcasters. Oh shit. Is this buffs? Am I actually about to read buffs? In 3.7, we changed Varl's Mark to only apply its leech effects to attacks, as Mana Leech was one of the easiest ways to recover mana for int characters, outclassing most other mana recovery mechanics with very little cost. Fuck, the chat is going wild. I don't want to look at it. In 3.8, we have changed all remaining sources of Mana Leech. Wait. Mana was one of the easiest ways to recover mana for int characters, outlasting most other mana recovery mechanics with very little cost. Very little cost. Making so that you have to use a curse, like one specific curse, to get your mana is not little cost in my eyes. But whatever, okay? In 3.8, we've changed all remaining sources of mana leech, either replacing the stat or changing them to only leech from attacks. This includes enchantments, the mana leech support, and unique items. Oh, fuck. Oh no. Oh shit, there's more. The general philosophy is that mana sustain for spellcasters should be something a player has to think about and find some way to manage. Similar to accuracy for attack characters. Okay, let's be... Wait. So does this mean that with one craft on my weapon that costs couple exalts, I'll get 3 mana cost for my skills for all eternity? Is that what this means? Because I know of a certain modifier that makes you never miss a hit. So... Or are we getting like a very low reservation aura or something like that that gives us like mana leech, you know? Because we have precision that alone gives you all the accuracy you ever need. I'm expecting not, but I'm just saying getting accuracy on that character is not really hard anymore. However, we don't want the solution to be a huge investment, and we've tried to provide a few different interesting ways to sustain mana recovery. Mana Flasks have received a major review. Values have been adjusted, recovering more mana and having more uses available, so they're more reliable for longer encounters. We introduced a selection of new modifiers for Mana Flasks, including a new Enduring modifier that lets Mana Flask remain after reaching full mana at the cost of the duration. I mean, that's a nice mod, but... You say you don't want it to be a huge investment, and on the next paragraph you're talking about using Mana Flasks? Seriously? Neon has not read this. Because Neon plays the game, he knows that people don't use Mana Flasks. Because the other flasks are so fucking good. Just saying. This is kind of interesting for Soul Thirst though. But it's a... Because Soul Thirst goes off when your Mana Flask stops. When a flask ends, but... That's pretty interesting for Soul Thirst. This gives you Soul Eater. Passives that affect Mana Flask have been added or improved. Also, you can increase the duration by temp chaining yourself. So we might actually see Soul Thirst. You take the longest duration Mana Flask. You temp change yourself and you know all that shit with 7, like so that you get the 75 effect. So that the Mana Flask stay. That's quadrupling the time of the Mana Flask. If it's 10 seconds, now it's 40 seconds with that. So I am hoping to not see Soul Thirst nerfs, because if that's not gonna change, we're gonna see Soul Thirst. Passives that affect the Mana Flask have been added or improved, including the new Essence Extraction, notable that grants Mana Flasks 1 charge every 3 seconds. Yeah, we saw that already. As well as Mana Regen, increased fast charges again, and removing 1 random ailment. I mean, that's just like... Nobody wants to rely on this. Ever. Stats that's subtracted from the final mana cost of skills made managing mana for certain channel skills far too simple. Oh no! Oh no! They're killing it! Oh fuck! Rip Blight! Oh fuck! we've split these mods into a channeled and non-channeled skill version, with the channeled skill version granting a much smaller reduction. This is also gonna kill Cyclone, I think. This might actually kill Cyclone mana sustain. Oh shit. The reduced mana support has been reworked. Oh, again? And it's now the inspiration support. I mean, you definitely need some inspiration to make reduced mana actually usable again. In addition to reducing mana cost, it now grants an inspiration charge each time you spend mana with a supported skill, up to 5 charges. The supported skill gains more elemental damage and a crit chance for each inspiration charge. Why is it elemental damage? Why? Now you can't use this on like pure physical. Like what? Really? Are you actually kidding me? You couldn't use this for something like Blade Vortex then. I mean, sure, if you do conversion, I guess. But why elemental damage? Why? I need to know. After spending more than a specified amount of mana, the inspiration changes are removed. After spending more than a specified amount of mana, the inspiration charges are removed. This rewards you for investing in reducing the mana cost of your skills as much as possible to maximize the uptime of your inspiration. I mean, this also just rewards you from not casting your spells often. This guy. I mean, I understand the idea, but people are not gonna be investing into some goddamn reduced mana cost of skills. Because that could be damage. They're just gonna find another way. They're fucking gonna go blood magic or something like that. Like, I actually see people going blood magic casters so they don't have to care about the fucking mana issue. Or EB. Yeah, EB is actually good though. EB with the Mastermind Helm is actually god tier mana sustain. Honestly, this just sounds like EB. Like, they make mana sustain hard, but then we have EB, and we can leech to ES. Like, what's the point? Clarity has also. I mean, you could argue that going EP means that you can't go CI or low life. Clarity has also been changed to grant higher values of one region and higher gem levels. Yeah. All builds have such a high mana pool that they can actually have a high level clarity. Good job. Good job. Yes. A variety of new passive tree clusters have been added, including one that improves mana and arcane shards. Ones that give curse bonuses and a way to... yeah, that's it. We saw one passive, which basically just gives you arcane shards, which also means that it overrides your existing arcane surge. So if you had a good arcane surge, it just gives you a low level one. And a way to recover mana after hitting or killing enemies. Wait, one that gives a curse bonuses and a way to recover mana after hitting or killing cursed enemies. Imagine getting a new mod that isn't on kill effect only. Interesting. But then this is completely killed by any curse immune. It doesn't override your high level arcane. You sure? Did they change that at some point? Because at some point I remember it overriding. Well, either way, I think the whole mana thing is a mess. If your high level Arcane Shard's duration ends and you have a low level Arcane Shard, then low level Arcane Shard continues. I mean, that makes sense. It's a good if it actually works like that currently, yeah. Melee 3.7 introduced a whole host of changes and improvements to variety of melee skills. This resulted in a lot of people playing Cyclone. I mean, that's because you made Cyclone so good. Not because of the improvements to melee in general. Cyclone benefited from a combination of melee range and area modifiers in a way that it lets surpass the area effect of almost any other skill alongside all other benefits that Cyclone has. Rather than punishing other skills that use melee range, we've changed how Cyclone calculates its area, making the increase granted additive with other area increases. I mean, I'm glad that you didn't nerf the other skills. I guess. Beans kind of had to buff that still. This has meant that we've been able to provide more melee range in the passive tree. Oh, that's nice. Master of the Arena, Brinksmanship, Bone Breaker, and Splitting Strikes now grant +2 melee range up from 1. I mean, that's nice. I guess. Yeah, that's good. I stand with my point, elemental damage way more used than spell damage. But they could have just been in kobold damage. Just damage instead of spell damage, like elemental damage or spell damage. If it was damage, it would also affect physical. I mean, I understand you say elemental damage is good because it affects then it affects heralds and shit like that, and elemental explosions like impulses. But then it's boring as fuck. I mean, I'd rather make it boring as fuck if it's like than rather be bad for a lot of skills, because this just means that it's really shit for non-elemental scaling builds. It's like, what's the point? Now you have a mana. You introduce a mana sustaining support that only works for a set amount of damage type scaling. This makes no fucking sense. Where did we go? Yeah, okay, this will improve the area of strike attacks, making them easier to use and more effective when taken on backs of enemies. Ancestor Call support has had its damage penalty lowered, resulting in no damage penalty at level 20 gem. This is to further help the clearing capacity of striking attack. That's nice. I guess. That's good. We've increased the base damage of multi-strike while lowering the bonuses for the second and third swing. That's good. So the skill is much less punitive if you only perform 1 or 2 attacks. I mean, you still need to. It's still gonna feel fucking shit. Okay, so the two choices of multi-strike is either it feels clunky when you wait for all of the 3 attacks to hit because attack speed scaling is so hard, or you hit maybe once or twice and the animation cancels the third, and now it's just bad than most of the other supports. That's basically the 2 options you have. Or you go Headhunter slash Soul Eater scaling and you get so much attack speed that it doesn't matter. Multi-strike being cancelable is something we've decided to stick with to keep melee characters more mobile. Multiplicative attack speed is very dangerous from both clear capacity and performance, so we're retiring to give a single support gem anymore. I mean, just remove the more multipliers from the second and the third hit, and you don't see people being as brained. Really, just do that. We've lowered the added physical damage on retaliation attacks because of how high their damage output could be when used with phase breakers. Their base damage has been increased to compensate. I mean, good job, I guess. Pulverized support now provides increased AoE instead of more. Well, fuck. The skill provided too much AoE for heavily invested characters, so we changed the values to be additive with other area increases. The support now grants more damage than before to make up for the loss of area. I mean, the damage wasn't an issue. The issue with the melee is the AoE, not the damage. I at least hope that the increased AoE from the pulverize is much higher than the Morvas, so that it's actually really good for skills that don't have any other sources of increased area effect. At least that. At least make it like that. Ranged tornado shot has been outperforming other bow attack skills, yeah, for a long time, while also having potent single target damage. This is partially due to the power of additional secondary projectiles enchantment. We've changed the enchantment to be from Eternal Labyrinth only and grant +1 secondary projectiles down from 2. I mean, I'm glad that they are not fucking around with the base skill, because that would make it even worse than it is now. So if this is the only change for it, that's fine. Because now it means that you don't necessarily absolutely have to get that enchant. I mean, you still get it, but it doesn't feel as bad. We fixed the bug that meant that secondary projectiles from fork could hit the target that they fork from with certain skills. For prayers, this only applied to tornado shot and barrage. Wait, what? Wait, was it actually working? Was that bug actually working with tornado shot too? I knew the bug on barrage, but I didn't know that it was for tornado shot too. Oh shit. They don't mention Shattering Steel though. They thought that I think they fixed the forking with Shattering Steel at some point, and then they reintroduced it because currently it still works. Wait. That the forking on the secondary projectiles working for tornado shot must have been like definitely not something people actually know. It's just like, oh shit, I suddenly do a lot of damage because my build's good. Oh shit. This explains so much about tornado shot though. Holy fuck. I wonder how long it has been bugged. Think how much damage it is. Yeah. It's actually crazy. People just thought that it was actually like super good, but and that Rickwall just gives you, oh shit. Oh goodness. I lost half my DPS using Pierce. It's been like this since Legacy. Oh goodness. Pierce don't work with fork. I mean, they do work. First pierces, and then when the pierce is gone, then you have the chain and forks. So it does work. It just didn't apply to the single target damage, and that explains why the single target would go down with the pierce. We've given added lightning damage to lightning arrow and added cold damage to ice shot to help them scale better throughout the game, not improved damage and projectile scaling with Spiro. I mean, I think people are just gonna. I mean, I'm expecting that the really juiced up tornado shot is still gonna be probably the best clearing, but I mean, Lightning Arrow is actually a good skill. With high packs, Lightning Arrow just is actually really feels good man skill. The issue with Lightning Arrow is it's really bad at killing like stragglers if you don't have a really good setup. I really hate the fact that they're giving lightning damage and then cold damage instead of just physical because they have the conversion, but it makes sense that they're doing it like thematic wise. And improved damage and projectile scaling on Split Arrow. Dude, if they're making Split Arrow actually great, like it's in a D2 with multi-shot, oh my goodness. Yo, I really hope that Split Arrow is gonna be good. I wanna play it. New Lightning Arrow with returning projectile is gonna be insane. Yeah, I think the returning projectile, because it's such an easy investment. You just get one anointment in your amulet for that, and that's it. So I think a lot of people are gonna try it at least. We've also made some improvements to how all projectiles select targets when chaining. Previously, 2 projectiles from a single attack could attempt to chain to the same target, but only one would be able to hit. Now chaining projectiles won't attempt to chain to the same target unless no other charges are available, which significantly improves the clearing capabilities of chaining projectiles when used. Wait, was that a thing? Wait, what the fuck? Really? That chain buff is actually massive. Well, fucking huge. Dude, I never knew that mechanically the chain can, because it just went for the closest target then, I suppose, instead of, you know, one is going for the closest and the second one goes to the one that is, you know. There's just like these random hidden mechanics that just made no sense. But yeah, chain is really good now with this. This is big. Dude. Oh my god. The new poison skill with the chain. Lightning arrow? Oh my god, yeah, dude. Oh shit. Big. Other spells. Contagion no longer gains radius on gem levels. The skill provided too much clearing capacity over a large area at high levels. Oh, fuck. I mean, they did exactly the thing that they needed to do to kill the ED contagion. And that was... honestly, I think they should have just taken it, like, you know, so that Intensify doesn't work on it. Somehow, instead of this. Because now if you don't have those, all of those, like both in KOV and Intensify, this is like, I wouldn't say kill the skill. I mean, it's definitely gonna kill it from the meta. Dude, how much AoV is that? Because you get like at level 20, is it like +4 radius or something like that?
That does not look like 4 radius to me. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be fine. Wait, if this is actually true, then it's gonna be fine. But this does not look like -4 radius to me. Because you're gonna lose like much more than 4 radius because of all of the scala, like the scaling. But like, is this okay? Okay, there we have to remember one thing, guys. This might not be an ED build that has a lot of AoE in the skill tree. I mean, it is not. My ED has like much bigger AoE than this, and I'm like, I don't even have EDs like high AoE scaling. It's gonna be much bigger nerf than this image. This is 100% not gonna be the actual one. This is very misleading, I think. I want to know how much AoE this. Whoever is this on Reddit? I want to know how much increased AoE he has on the skill tree on this picture. Yeah, I mean, obviously on packed maps it's not a big deal. God damn it. Why is nobody asking how much increased AoE he has on his skill tree? Fuck's sake. Either way, I mean, it's still gonna be playable. Obviously, it's not gonna be the crazy shit it is now. Check the aim in POB. No, I wanna read all of this first. I might check it later. Still might test it earlier, and still had like a really juiced up AoE setup. I think, right? 20 intensified plus in KoE. Yeah, but that doesn't tell how if he had anything on the skill tree or not, because you can get a lot of AoE in your skill tree. Still tested it is fine, but not insane. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I would assume that his AoE was the same as mine is right now, because I didn't go for the crazy AoE on mine. So crazy AoE scaling is gonna keep something around the same as I have. What was the radius? I think my ED was like 38 or something. I don't remember. Okay, body swap has been significantly reworked. The most notable change is that you can target a living enemy to warp to their location. Damn it, that's good. The skill benefits from more AoE effect and corpse explosion when destroying corpse. There are other mechanical damage changes that it make it more flexible for spell by specimen teleporting around the similar. And it's really nice that you can actually you don't need a corpse now. That's good. That's really good. AoE went down about 8 or 10. But it depends heavily on how much you invested before, right? If you had crazy AoE, that went down much more than if you didn't have. Mine goes from 46 to 38. Okay. I should probably check mine at some point. But, yeah. It's still gonna be fine, I think. Passive 3 changes. We made a large number of changes to the passive 3 in relation to mana, minus bonuses for damage over time, poison, and more. The mine passive have been almost completely reworked. The damage over time and poison clusters now have different stats and values, and there are a number of new mana clusters found on the passive tree. We've split the Flask effect cluster that was near the witch into 4 different passive clusters, granting Flask effect alongside other effects. Oh shit, about time they're actually taking off that insane cluster. It was like if you were near Alchemist, you took it, basically. These are spread over the passive tree with a preference towards the dexterity area of the tree, as the ranger has the strongest flask associated. I mean, let's buff Pathfinder, I suppose. Each cluster has less flask effect than the old cluster, but in total there is no more flask effect on the passive tree than before. I mean, I guess this is because of the Legion jewels being able to grant you so much flask effect. So this nerfs like the wall skill stuff. I don't know, it feels like they're doing this change to nerf the wall skill shenanigans with the incursion flask. But this is gonna hurt a lot, like the normal builds a lot. We raised the base radius of all traditional aura skills. And lowered the bonuses. And lowered the bonus from ink AoE of aura skills on the tree. I mean, that's nice. Just because these passive stats will also apply the mind skills as they count as aura skills. The passives are still great choices for mind characters, being more powerful than other generic AoE increases, but don't have values more than twice the numbers in elsewhere. Okay. We've also given Smite more radius at the gem levels, as its area effect was balanced around the area of like passive. Okay. I wonder what's gonna happen to Death's Oath. Yeah. I hope they don't forget that, because that's not a traditional aura skill. Okay. We've added a new power charge cluster similar to Endurance Shine Frenzy ones added in the 3.7. Wait, are you talking about the generation clusters? Or are you talking about the minimum power charge? Because we got both. We got the Frenzy and Endurance Charge generation on the lower side of the tree with the channeling stuff, right? But I'm assuming this is the minimum charge. Yeah, okay. Clusters introduced in the 3.7 that gave increased attributes have been moved, so they are no longer in radius of any jewel sockets, as these clusters keep the power level of certain unique jewels too heavily. As a result, Tempered Flesh and Transcendent Flesh now have 7% crit multi per unable strength radius, up from 5. Tempered Mine and Transcendent Mine have 125 accuracy rating, up from 100. This should make them a tempting choice in more locations on the tree. I mean, yeah. Somebody probably did all the numbers, but how much of a nerf is this to the crit multi on the Marauder? I mean, it's gotta be big, right? Because it was a lot of strength from that notable. I mean, they were really fucking powerful for very little investment, let's be honest. Changes to various ascendancies. We made a host of changes to various ascendancies. Most notable are Necromancer, Saboteur, and Assassin, to go alongside changes and additions to their standard skill archetypes, you can see here, here, and here. Other ascendancies have been touched to a lesser degree for a few different reasons below. Some of the notable changes. Our intent is to have fewer passives that take an underused skill or mechanic and keep the tools to see use. We're moving this effect onto the skills themselves as they level. Thank you. Can we also now remove the Pathfinder specific skill shit? Right? Thank you. Also the Deadeye for the Blink Arrow. Please. The Necromancer and the Readathon is the most obvious example of this, and we've also changed the Guardian so he no longer grants specific bonuses to Herald of Purity and Domination Blow minions. Thank you. Thank you for that. I have built the Crusade Slam effect into the minions themselves. Imagine that. Nice. I've been bitching about those kind of things since the first time they introduced them. It's nice to see them being gone now. And that's why I was so happy about the Necromancer change, because they like removed all the Necro skill specific stuff. So nice. We'll likely do this more as part of the future rework, so I'm expecting this to mean the Blink Mirror Arrow for the Deadeye, so we might be able to do Blink Mirror Arrow Deadeye minion builds from non-Deadeye. What was it called again? Actually lost the shade of thought. There was another one, yeah, the Pathfinder. Okay, the Hierophant's Mana Path has changed as a result of a review of all mana mechanics. It should be more offensively powerful for a character with heavy mana usage now, with defensive power slightly reduced. Okay. The Elementalist has had its Golem path adjusted. Oh yeah, that's another thing, the Golem shit from Elementalist. Providing much more power to the player on an invested Golem character while no longer being the only way for a character to get additional Golems outside of unique items thanks to the new Golem cluster on the passage. I would like to see the Golems, or your Elemental Golems are immune to elemental damage somewhere else than the Elementalist. It should be more desirable path for builds that don't rely entirely on their minions as a result. King of Ruin now, I mean, they kind of nerfed the Elementalist Golemancers then. And it's more like just having the Golems as a side. Is that how I'm reading it? Beacon of Ruin now grants increased effect of non-damaging elements to improve its overall power. Okay. The Raider received some numerical improvements and on one additional aura mechanic to make it more competitive, but will receive more change in the future to give it more unique features. I feel like because they said previously that they're gonna be changing Raider, they had to do something, but they're like, fuck it, just, you know, just do something so we can say that we did something. The Occultist Wild Bastard now also grants 40 energy shield regen per second at all times, granting more reliable recovery, especially at lower levels. I mean, I guess it's nice for low levels. Even with no regen mods? No. No regen will override this. This just means that you have a 40 flat regen. I can really only think that as using it with EB, honestly. Without having a high ES pool. It's like a baby Inquisitor. It's 0.5 ES regen at 8 ES. I mean, it's an addition on top of everything else it has, so... I mean, it's a straight buff, even though the buff isn't exactly great. It's nice for EB against bosses, but that's about it.
I think. The Chieftain now provides a 25 fire damage per time multiplier instead of 15% more burning damage, providing more power for burning characters unless they are very heavily invested in damage per time multiplier. Thanks. I don't know if you guys remember, but when we were looking at Chieftain last ladder, like last league, I was questioning why was it burning damage and not just increased fire, like more fire damage. Because it didn't work with ignites. Like, that's nice to see change. The Berserker and Slayer were a little too generically powerful for attack builds, so some nodes have had values adjusted. Slayer's Bane of Legend node has a value of attacks and move speed granted reduced to 10, so it was from 2010. Still good. Oh wait, no, wait, Lynn, sorry, wait, this was something else. There was something I was bitching about it. I don't remember exactly what it was. Fuck. You're right, I don't remember what it was. There was something about that specific node I was bitching about. Or I was confused about. Was it just that we had like 3 different nodes that no wait, it was just 3 different modifiers that didn't work well together or something like that. Was it the pen maybe? Honestly I don't remember. Yeah, fuck, I can't remember. But yeah, you're right. Obviously the more burning damage works with ignite. But the fact that it's fire damage or the multiplier versus more, it actually is a nerf. Because if you have a decent amount of scaling, fire damage over time multiplier already, that 25 is not gonna do anything. So there's that. But it's a buff if you don't have much. Overwhelm has had its base crit chance lowered to 7.5 from 8. That's fine. I'm glad that they are up to doing some small numerical nerfs instead of just completely axing it. Yeah, if you have 100, then it's still like yeah. It's not gonna be bad for a long time, but it's not worse. Yeah. Obviously, I mean it depends a lot how much you get it, right? We don't really know how much. I mean, we probably do know if you have the leaked skill tree, and if we know all the values of how the crafts and whatnot. But I'm expecting us to be able to get enough fire damage over time multiplier from other sources for that to really not be that great anymore. But overall, all of the degen builds got buffed, right? Especially because we can now scale it from crit. So it makes sense that they're lowering the value because we get so much from elsewhere. So a node specific nerf, but the build types got buffed pretty much. We have full league skill tree. We have a full league skill tree from I don't remember how many days ago that could have changed since then. So we don't actually potentially have the right skill tree. I'm just gonna wait for the POB to get it. Or do we actually have the actual skill tree in POB? Okay. Berserker's Creative Slaughter no longer grants a chance to deal double damage. With this bonus pain moved to Warbringer if you use Warcry in the past 8 seconds. Flawless Savagery now grants a lower value of crit strike chance for attacks and slightly less crit multi. I mean, it would be nice to know the actual values. But okay. I mean, it makes sense that they're nerfing it a bit. But we're gonna get the actual POB at some point soon anyway, so it's fine. It doesn't matter. So we don't actually have the actual skill tree. We only have the leak that might be changed. So whatever. The Trickster's Ghost Down passive was providing a bit too much defense for single notable, so the chance to evade reduced damage taken and the amount of energy skill recovers be lowered. Yep. It's still gonna be fine, but yeah. The Ascendant has had passives related to many of the adjusted ascendancies above changed. For example, the Subtle Notable now provides more elemental pen than before, and the Necromancer node now penalizes offerings on you less and grants additional AoE if you consume the corpse recently. I like how they're highlighting the buff to Saboteur and not the nerf to the region. It's kind of funny. Whaled modifiers. Oh, we made a number of changes to make unlocking whaled modifiers easier. Modifiers granted only by items from specific syndicate members now recover half as many unveils to learn to craft. They're also more likely to appear as one of the potential modifiers. Probably not gonna be enough, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Finding Shavs is also a nice joke. You don't find it, you farm the div cards. Pretty easy. Modifiers only found on less common item types or that are limited to only 1 or 2 item types are much more likely to appear as unavailing options. That's nice. Flask modifiers are unavailable only from the unique Flask when unique members now only regard a single unavail to lock. That's really good. Yo, that's really nice. The intent is that it shouldn't be necessary for a character to learn every single crafting recipe at each league, but we want to make it easier to get specific modifier you'd like to craft. Hmm. Cool. I like the veil modifiers change, that's good. Other changes. Packs of monsters that spawn with rare monsters now have a single shared modifier from the rare, as well as more life, damage, experience, and item rewards. This will make a rare monster encounter more rewarding and able to provide a cradle challenge. Cradle challenge. Crater challenge. Minions of a rare monster. I wonder if that single shared modifier from the rare actually could be the Nemesis mod. Imagine having like allies gonna die on them all. Ugh. So now you just one shot them as usual. Yeah, 15 soul conduits. Yo, 50. No, I'm expecting Nemesis mod to not be shareable. Also, allies gonna die doesn't actually work when allies gonna die. Like they can't like make them like allies gonna die doesn't make another allies gonna die. You know. Monster accuracy has been lowered as 3.7's accuracy evasion calculation change resulted in monsters being noticeably more likely to hit a character with medium investment in evasion. This change brings an evasion-focused character back to the previous evade chance against monsters, though characters with low evasion will still be more likely to be hit than prior. I mean, nice buffing evasion. Cool. I'll take it. Even though evasion is already... I mean, evasion at high levels is really strong. We've also reduced the chance for a leak mechanic that drops a random unique to drop a leak-specific unique. This ended up being the most common source of leak-specific uniques in some leagues. I mean, really? You don't think... You didn't say... No, this is not about evasion bug. This is about rework to their accuracy rating. The bug is this is not related to the bug that was at some point. We've increased the speed that the breach expands in the endgame breach domains. This lets you clear through a breach domain faster than before. That's nice. We've increased the amount of time that you start with the elemental and physical breaches in the endgame breach domains to compensate for this faster expansion. So you just have as much time total to complete the breach. The amount of time that you start with in Chaos Breach domain has not changed, as thus will be slightly more challenging. We've improved life scaling on the bosses to be more consistent across levels, increased density of monsters in the breach domains, remove the increased life mod from the breach domains, and increase the life of the monsters in the breach domains to compensate. This will even out the challenge in pure breach domains. Prior to this change, the bosses of the physical and chaos breaches had less life than elemental breach bosses in pure domain. You might have me to thank, or I guess, you know, hate on that, because I sent a long-winded post, like a message to a dev about how they fucked up with their breach boss life scaling for the pure breaches, because it was literally scaling just from like based on the level. This meant that the Ash, Tool, and Xof had much higher HP than Ulnetul and Chayula, because they start from a lower level, so the plus level increased their life much more than the Ulnetul and Chayula. And if you guys remember, like, there was like a clip during the last league where, maybe was it last league? I don't know. Or where Matthew just like instantly killed pure Chayula, and I just posted like the HP values there. It's just like, it's not a big deal to kill Chayula. And then yeah. Oof. I mean, this is just good. It makes sense now. It's weird that it took them this long to actually, you know, fix it. But yeah, that's good. I like this. I like it. Good. Makes sense. We made adjustments to large variety of unique items based on their use. For example, a Poet Spell triggered spell now has a cooldown of 0.15, down from 0.25. It now only triggers on finishing an attack rather than on starting an attack because of animation cancelling. Blasphemer's Grasp now gives plus 4 damage to damage for the multiple 4 elements for each Elder item equipped, instead of 15% increase. I mean, that's nice. That's actually nice. Yo, we might actually see some people use Blasphemer's Grasp now. This could be 40%. But the issue is that you would have to have everything Elder, right? So, and you can, I think you can get damage per time multiplier on, is it Elder gloves or Shaper gloves anyways? I think. I mean, currently it's just
non-ailment, right? I don't know how high the number goes, but like we might see somebody use that. Maybe. I'm not expecting many people to do, but you never know. That concludes all of the major balance changes we're wanting to discuss today. There are many other smaller changes that you'll be able to read about in the patch notes tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoyed this look at the upcoming balance changes, and we look forward to playing with you all the upcoming Blight League. Okay,